Hi, everybody, this is Gerald Orlees, and today I'm going to talk about heavy metal toxicity, specifically titanium. Now, this is going to show some information coming from my seminar that I teach to natural health care practitioners across the country. This one is called Purification Solutions for a Polluted World. And in that seminar, I do have a slide specifically that addresses titanium toxicity. And so titanium toxicity is associated with symptoms such as eczema, certain cancers, vision problems, lung disease, lupus, which is an autoimmune issue, as well as sinus issues. So this information here is research. You can go on PubMed. In fact, you can actually go and you can look up the information about titanium, especially titanium dioxide. So one interesting thing is you're going to find titanium dioxide in certain foods. You're going to find it in pharmaceuticals. You're going to find it in lotions and creams, especially substances that are white in color. Anything that's white in color, unfortunately, is being colored by certain minerals or metals. Okay, so you want to think about also sometimes even the colorants in tattoos or the colorants or the dyes in hair dyes or even in foods. And you have to wonder, what are the substances that these manufacturers are putting into these foods that we ultimately then consume and put into our bodies, and how are they impacting us? So here you can see that titanium dioxide is commonly found in consumer products, agriculture, and within the energy sector. And I have a post that I put on. I was recently over at the Dole plantation, and I was looking at these bags of candy and just reading labels. There's many ingredients here that people shouldn't be putting into their bodies, but you can see here, one of the ingredients is titanium dioxide, just right here. And oftentimes people are going to think, oh, it has to do with white coloring. And I found that there were other packaged foods. In fact, let me bring this up on screen. There are other packaged foods that didn't have the whiteness in the color, but still had it as an ingredient. And I'm going to bring this on screen. But this titanium dioxide, what is it in there for, right? This has got to be a concern for a lot of people. And let me rotate it. Okay, this one here, this one is red in color, yet you can find that the titanium dioxide is in there. Now, obviously, there's artificial food coloring red 3, which could override the whiteness effect of the titanium dioxide. But this is in the foods that people are consuming, and these by no means should be items that should be actually consumed and put in the body. Now, the research shows that it was once thought to be inert. So inert meaning not having some sort of biological activity or impact on metabolic processes within the body. However, what they're finding now is that if we go into some of these others, you can see here the effects of titanium dioxide nanoparticle exposure on human health, and can induce, so this titanium dioxide can induce inflammation due to oxidative stress. So what does that mean? It means that it's actually getting into the body, it's storing, it's accumulating, and if the liver and the kidneys are not healthy enough, then the body has difficulty eliminating or excreting these heavy metals, and then it creates oxidative stress, which is another way of creating challenges for the liver and causing inflammation. So individuals can now develop this inflammation. The body has to put this titanium dioxide or this particular heavy metal or any other heavy metal somewhere so it doesn't become problematic. And then we start to see that it starts being deposited in the organs and the bones, as well as the fat tissue. And this could be a reason why individuals have challenges losing weight, because some of these heavy metals, which are fat soluble, are being stored and sequestered there in order to protect the body. So the body's trying to protect the brain from having the heavy metal exposure. The body's trying to protect the organs, the liver, the heart, etc., from being harmed by these heavy metals. So we know that this is having a negative impact. We also know that titanium dioxide is permitted as an additive in food as well as pharmaceutical products. It's also known to, let's see here, this is a study showing basically that it's known to also be released. So sometimes we have implants. I see individuals who come in with total knee replacements or even certain screws or any type of metallic implant that's being put into the body. I've seen even hips being replaced with titanium components, and individuals are coming into our office with heavy metal toxicity. Now, of course, during the operation or during the insertion of the actual implant in the operating room, patients are unfortunately told or misinformed that these are not leaking. But unfortunately, we do find individuals who come in with symptoms of heavy metal detox challenges, and we can find and identify that a titanium is unfortunately being released. And there can be certain blood tests as well as saliva tests that will also pick that up if we were to conduct any particular lab and that lab analysis to detect if there's leakage of titanium. This one here is potential causes of titanium particle and ion release in implant dentistry. So sometimes certain implants that dentists will go ahead and place within the mouths of patients has been confirmed that there is some leakage, okay? And that can occur during the release of the implant bed preparation, during the implant insertion, and then during the implant decontamination. So there's release of titanium. And if you were to look into, for example, the IARC. The IARC is the International Agency. Let me see if I have it here. Okay, here, might here. All right. The IARC is the International Agency in the Research of Cancer. And for many of my seminars that I give to practitioners across the country, I talk about the IARC's research and what they have been able to find. And let me move, let's find this here, 1 second. I'm gonna pull this on screen because, you know, if it's in our food and originally was found to be inert, meaning not having any impact, and then this information comes out from the International Agency in Research, put it here, you can look this up. This is the IARC. This stands for International Agency of Research on Cancer. Monograph 93. You can go ahead and put titanium dioxide, IARC monograph, and seek out the actual documentation. And you can see what their evaluation is. We know that a group 1A is a confirmed carcinogen to humans. So there are many chemicals out there, as well as some viruses and certain medications that are known carcinogens to humans, and that can be confirmed with their research that they publish. And here you can see that titanium dioxide is a possible carcinogen to humans. It's a group 2B. It is actually confirmed. There is sufficient evidence in experimental animals. So it is confirmed, a confirmed carcinogen in experimental animals. And what this agency does is they go and gather and find out, is there sufficient information? Is there sufficient data? So it's all based on how much data that can lead to, does it have the classification of a group 1A IR rating, okay, a known carcinogen, or is it group B? So it's probably a matter of time before there's sufficient amount of data before it's confirmed that this should be an issue. And in the meantime, you know, you would assume that food manufacturers would be ahead of what's coming down the pipeline to immediately start removing this particular item as an ingredient in the food products that they're actually feeding us, right? So hopefully you're not eating these, but my whole point is that there are heavy metals in our environment. There are heavy metals where we don't believe they're going to be there, right? So there's heavy metals in our air, there's heavy metals in our food, there's heavy metals in our water, there's heavy metals on the skin products. So given that titanium dioxide does create whiteness and gives that pigmentation, you also have to look at, is it a possible ingredient of some of your sunscreens, cosmetics, lotions, anything you apply topically? And always remember, based on the research that the pharmaceutical companies have done, 60 to 80% of what you apply topically in a cream on your skin does get absorbed into your body. Okay, so ultimately it is almost as if you are consuming these particular chemicals 60, 80% of the time for whatever you apply on, okay? And I want you to think about that. So in order for us to address heavy metal toxicity, especially from titanium exposure, if you have an implant, if you have a titanium implant, well, you know, it's pretty close to difficult to having that removed and replaced with something else that's safer. And so it's important to make sure that your liver and your kidneys and all your detox organs are fully supported nutritionally as well as herbally to properly eliminate whatever is being released or whatever you absorb from your environment. And we use a lot of great herbs. You know, there are many herbs like milk thistle, rosemary, even hawthorn, and it all depends on the quality, and everybody is individual and different as to what they need. And there are many substances out there that can support heavy metal detox. I mean, I have some people, kale and Brussels sprouts and Spanish black radishes are sufficient, but everyone is a little bit different. And so our first job that I recommend is avoid titanium as much as you possibly can, especially from your cosmetics, your lotions, your foods. And obviously if it's in the air, we can't avoid it completely. And then to support your detox organs, the liver, the gallbladder, the lymph, and the kidneys, and then your bowels, make sure that you have healthy, regular bowel movements regularly. And And that's what you can do. So there are things that you can control and things that you can optimize your body's detoxification capabilities. And then there are things that you're going to avoid. And then there are things that, hey, you have to accept that we cannot avoid whatever we get from our environment. So anyways, I hope this information is helpful. We're talking about titanium toxicity. If you suspect that you have symptoms of titanium toxicity, let me know. In fact, this is the, let me see here if I can pull it. I'll pull this back up. I know I showed it briefly in the beginning, but these are one of the more challenging things to deal with, right? So eczema, cancer, vision problems, lung diseases, lupus, sinus issues. These are all typically related to detoxification challenges. And so if you suspect that you have any detoxification related challenges, give us a call. We'll try to help you out. And if you have some titanium exposure, then do your best to avoid it and minimize your exposure to it, and then start to support those livers and kidneys and lymph and bowels to help make sure that you're eliminating appropriately. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime.